So should the Spurs just go ahead and trade those Atlanta picks?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey, welcome back to Locked On Spurs. We're in the Locked On NBA Network. I am your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. I am glad to have you back. Happy Monday, everybody. Hope you had a restful weekend. Back at work and ready to get through it right here on Locked On Spurs. We'll help you get through the work pains of a Monday, right? Yeah, those days suck. As always, subscribe to Locked On Spurs wherever you get your favorite podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Ken's 5 Plus app, YouTube. You know where to go. Subscribe right now. Subscribe to the Locked On Spurs newsletter. It's in the description below. Just click on that if you're on the YouTube side of things. You'll see it because LL Spurs newsletter. Click on that. Sign up. It's completely free. Hope y'all can do that right now. Hey, today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use Locked On NBA for $20 off your first purchase. What are we talking about today? We're going to be looking at those ATL picks. Atlanta, was supposed to be bad, right? You trade away DeJounte Murray. All that's left is Trae Young, and right, they're supposed to be bad, right? But yeah, lo and behold, they're winning. They're winning. The more they win, the less those first-round picks in that Murray trade become valuable. So should the Spurs go ahead and pull the trigger now, trade them ahead of the trade deadline, at the trade deadline, or at draft day? We're going to be discussing that and preview tonight's game, Spurs-Lakers. Yes, after a postponement of Lakers-Spurs game 1 due to the wildfires, they are back tonight in action. It's late games. Hopefully you have some coffee ready. Yeah, you're going to need it. So let's go ahead and discuss this and more with our guest. He is back, everybody. Mr. Jack Thompson, formerly with San Antonio Sports Star, and appropriately rocking the 3 goggles. We're going to be worried about Trae Young and his play of late. Be sure to follow him on X at Jack_Thompson33. You see it on your screen right now. Do that right now. Jack's been a while, buddy. How you been?
Doing good, my man. Doing good. Happy to be back.
Yeah. How was your holidays?
It was good, man. Super busy. Awesome times with the fam, but glad it's over with. It was exhausting.
And to me, it went by super fast. But like I blinked and Christmas over, New Year's over, done.
Yeah, with me, having my girlfriend, it's double everything. So it's
her family and yeah. All right, but hey, but you know what? Be thankful. You got yourself a great,
extremely thankful. Yeah,
you're good health, and more importantly, you're back here on Locked On Spurs. That's what we like about it.
Yes, sir.
So, Jack, this is part 1 of a 2-part series about the Spurs and the ATL picks. Now, remember, the Spurs got unprotected, and everybody was like, yeah, unprotected. We're ready to rock and roll during the DeJounte Murray deal a couple of years back. Spurs fans have been drooling about that. Yeah, they're unprotected. Atlanta's going to suck. And pump the brakes. Atlanta's winning. They're winning. They come from behind win. Recently, Trae Young had a crazy 3 to beat the Jazz.
Yeah.
Those picks are not looking as strong. Right now, you may be projected middle teens, late teens at best. I know the draft is deep, but I know it ain't that deep. Jack, Big question. Should the Spurs go ahead and just deal those away either at this trade deadline or come draft day?
Yeah, I'm a huge proponent of the Spurs being aggressive with all picks. We have our own, Chicago's, Atlanta's, future ones. We've got our 2 young studs. I mean, you can't just keep drafting 18-year-olds and expect your team to, make a playoff championship level jump. It's from here on, it's got to be adding players through free agency or through trades. And, we all know the most valuable currency in the NBA is first-round draft picks. So, I'm a huge proponent of the Spurs being very aggressive, even before, this year's deadline, to go and find someone, a second scorer, a backup, rotational starter, backup big, big 3 and D wing. Those are really the 3 positions that I think the Spurs need the most. So, I would love for the Spurs to be aggressive with that Hawks pick.
Yeah, let's look at Atlanta's record as of this recording. It's like I pull it up here. They're not as bad as many people thought. And there's a few people who actually predicted that the Hawks will be better than advertised heading into this new season. Our mutual friend James Pledger, he was constantly ringing that bell. They're not going to suck. They're not going to suck. And, well, they're not sucking. All right, so let's see. So they played the Clippers last. So they're 18-18 right now, Jack. They're 500. So we extrapolate that. Let's just say they play out 500 throughout the rest of the season. It ain't going to be a good draft pick. As far as the Spurs, it might be a top 10, pick if Atlanta stays the course. I mentioned it right now, Jack. This is a supposed deep draft. How deep do you think it'll go? Do you think it will go 10 deep or maybe 8?
Oh no, it's 10 deep or beyond. I mean, this is a very deep draft class. Now, there may not be a lot of I would say there's probably 5 or 6 players that, right now you look at them, you're like, okay, you've got all-star potential, you've got franchise point guard potential, whatever franchise player. Mm-hmm. Beyond that, there's a lot of guys in this draft that I think are going to be good pros for a very long time. So picking in the early to mid-teens, I mean, it's not horrible. You'll be able to find diamonds in the rough there. But again, for the Spurs, you can't just keep adding 18-year-olds to this roster. It's just, We've got the best young player in the world. We've got a rookie of the year candidate. You can't keep adding players that young to try and get to where we need to be for Victor. It's just not going to work like that. You've got to get established guys in the door to really pull this team to the next level.
All right, so let's just take it step by step. Let's just say the Spurs want to use those picks and flip on this trade deadline. You mentioned some of the positions that are in need. I agree. I think for me, the number one is just backup big. Collins and Bassi. They're in the NBA for a reason. They got the talent, but I don't think it's adequate enough to back up Wemby. You're hearing names like Valanciunas is out there, Nurkic is out there.
It's Rob Williams, Darren Sharp.
Okay, but are those names that equal first round unprotected value? That's where I have the rub with that, Jack.
No, definitely not. I mean, there's got to be more in the trade for guys like that. And we've already seen reports where those guys are going to be going for probably multiple seconds. So we would be paying way overpriced. But yeah, I mean, those are guys that I would absolutely love to add. I think we just need some beef in the paint that can play with Wemby, maybe to start first to get subbed out and then comes back in for Wemby. Yeah. Just people that can hold down the paint on offense and defense, specifically defense, while Wemby's not on the court. Yeah, that's the most glaring need I see besides getting ourselves a bona fide number 2 scorer. And that's where your unprotected firsts come into play, getting guys like that.
Yeah, to me, it's all about timing too. Because right now it feels like the stock market. That's what it really feels like. It's the timing of this. If you trade them right now, Jack, it's like the value is low, right? Because Hawks are doing well. I don't think if you're going to deal with an opposing team, they're just going to be blinded. Oh, unprotected first round picks. Sure, let's rock and roll. That the buzzwords are not going to be enough. So, we're going to talk about this tomorrow with Rudy Campo, who's to take the opposing side, why the Spurs should keep them. But it just seems to me like right now, I agree with you. You're going to have to strike now because as Atlanta keeps on winning, those picks keep on losing value, Jack. Your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, barring, you never pray for this. Barring an unexpected injury to Trey or, Jalen Johnson, one of the major pieces on that team, this team's going to continue to probably get better and better because they're like the Spurs. They are also pretty young. A lot of their better players are pretty young. I mean, DeAndre Hunter, Jalen Johnson, Bogdanovich, all those guys, they were seasoned guys in the NBA, but, they've still got room to grow. So, yeah, I think, of course, one unprotected pick from the Hawks is not going to be enough to move the needle. But if you pair that up with other, future picks, then you've got a big enough, bargaining chip, right? Go get someone that really could help this team out. It seemed like a beautiful deal at the time, the Hawks losing DeJounte, but, looking at it in hindsight, that team was always going to be, worse by having both of those guys. It was addition by subtraction because Trey's clearly the better guy. between those two. And the more he has the ball, the more good things are going to happen. Yeah. And with the step that Jalen Johnson has taken to their second best player, I mean, they are definitely a lot better than I envisioned them to be.
Me too. Yeah.
So I think you either way, I mean, I stand on that point that I've, reiterated several times. We just can't keep drafting rookies because while, yes, it helps with the salary and all the future potential, all that fun stuff, but we're getting to the point where it's time to win. Mm-hmm. Wemby, he's got a couple more years on his contract before we have to give him the Supermax.
Yeah.
So it's time to start winning. You got to get guys in while Wemby's still under that, and it's just time to start being aggressive because once Wemby's a free agent, nothing is guaranteed anymore. And if we're not winning and keeping him happy, why would he stay? I mean, what have we done to keep him around? So it's time to start being really aggressive and trying to build at least a deep playoff run roster so Wemby can see, the sun in the horizon of what could be a championship.
Yeah, during the Spurs losing skid recently, you could see the frustration in his eyes and you can hear it in his voice. We're not doing the little things. We didn't deserve to win. The other team was better than us. That's his words, not mine or Jack's. Those are his words. So he's seeing that. But it's like a delicate balance here. It's like you have this incredible draft picks. I mean, the Hawks picks, and I guess you would say, Jack, they are the most valuable of the draft picks right now. Even though the Hawks are 18-18, they are the most valuable. So with those bargaining chips, you're going to have to make a move. Do you save them for the offseason when maybe a lower marketing could be back on the table again? Do you move up in the draft? Spurs, you guys, their own pick, it's like 12 or 11. You flip those and move up. So it's so delicate. And then there's the thing about, okay, do you win now and rush it? And the Spurs historically, and they've said it themselves, they're not going to rush the rebuild, but flipping the picks right now, and this is the head of the trade deadline, would equal rushing the process. But let's talk about that. Let's talk about what the Spurs else get to do if they want to flip it now, meaning NBA trade deadline. He is Jack Thompson. Be sure to follow him on X at Jack_Thompson33. Do that right now. He's formerly with San Antonio Spurs. Let's continue our chat about what the Spurs should trade those picks or not in just a few seconds. But first, let's talk about the ultimate GM.
I want to take a moment to introduce you to a brand new mobile game that I'm really excited about, Ultimate College Basketball HC. If you've ever dreamed of being a college basketball coach, this is your chance to step into those shoes. In Ultimate College Basketball HC, you control every detail of your program, from recruiting players and hiring coaching staff to overseeing training camps, handling NIL deals, and managing scholarships. It's all in your hands. And when it comes to game time, you get to draw up offensive play and set your strategy. The way you play won't just affect your current season, it'll shape the future of your school's basketball program. It's a game that lets you feel the full weight of what it means to be a head coach and lead your team to glory. Here's a special offer for Locked On NBA listeners. Use promo code LOCKEDONCBB, that's all in caps, inside the game store to get a free boost for your program. It's a perfect way to kickstart your coaching career. To download Ultimate College Basketball HC, just visit ultimate-cbb.com or look it up on the app stores. Ultimate College Basketball HC. Begin your coaching legacy today.
I love going to live events, whether it's sports, music, theater, or comedy. One of my favorite memories was attending the concert last year. The energy and excitement, unforgettable. Now, Game Time has made it easier to get tickets to your favorite events with their new feature, Game Time Picks. This feature filters out the fluff, so it just shows you the incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. But personally, I was looking for some tickets to an upcoming game. It was a Spurs game, and I started using the Game Time app. Well, with Game Time Picks, I found amazing deals that I could even see the views from my seat before buying. They had a super deal. That was particularly impressive. They offered up great seats at unbeatable prices. Plus, the app's all-in pricing shows the total cost up front, no surprise fees at checkout. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code ROTHNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Create an account. Redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It is game time.
as the new leader of the Decepticons, I commend you to subscribe to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
We're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Jack Thompson, formerly with San Antonio Sports Star. Make sure to follow my nice at Jack_Thompson33. By the way, cool throwback hat there, man. 30th anniversary NBA hat, man. It's nice.
My brother got me it for my birthday this year. Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. Yeah, you know what? You got the face for those like kind of like stiff caps. I can't. I have to wear a dad cap.
Yeah,
I don't have it.
I got both. I don't like it when it's like straight flat. I need some bend to it, but
yeah, I never was been a fan. It just reminds me. I know you're rocking well. It reminds you of the Elmer Fudd look. You know, back when he wore that big old stiff hat. That's what it reminds me of. I can't do that. All right, we're talking about what the Spurs should, or why the Spurs should go ahead and trade those ATL picks that they got in the DeJounte Murray deal. They should do that soon. So if they want to win now and they want to build a contending team now, well, their first path to that is this upcoming trade deadline. And we mentioned some of the names: Valanciunas, Nurkic, De'Aaron Fox, maybe. That name's popped up. I think the Spurs should steer clear from Jimmy Butler. I'm not going to even go there.
No.
But let's talk about Mr. Fox. Wife's from SA. Grew up in the Houston area. Yeah.
Yep.
Grew up in the Houston area.
Mm-hmm.
Visited the Alamo Dome when he was a kid to check out Spurs games. Oh, by the way, one of his favorite Spurs is Manu Ginobili. So should the Spurs go ahead and accelerate that rebuild and chase De'Aaron Fox with those ATL picks? Would Sacramento bite, knowing that those first-round picks aren't hot right now because Atlanta is winning?
Yeah, I mean, Fox is a guy that I would throw everything in the kitchen sink at. I mean, I think he propels us instantly into, playoff contention, like 6 through 4, somewhere in there. And with how good he is and what a pick and roll between him and Wemby could look like, I mean, that's a couple pieces away from, being a legit championship contender. So, yeah, Fox is probably number one on my list. He's a guy I would throw multiple first rounds at, and, at least one of the key players in our core outside of Castle and Wemby. So, yeah, Fox is very high on my Spurs wish list. He checks off several boxes for me.
So that implies, Jack, that you're okay with Vassell going.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm okay with Vassell going. I love Devin Vassell, but, the other night, I think it was, what game was it? I can't remember who he played, but Vassell's supposed to be our second best guy, and he finished the game with 11 points.
Oh, I think that was against Denver, I believe.
Yeah, it was Denver. And it's just, I don't know. I like Devin, but there's other Devins in the league. And I just don't think that he is going to be that number 2 option that we need. And frankly, I think our number 2 option has to be our point guard, because that's how you maximize the pick and roll with Wemby, is you got your second best player going in a pick and roll with your best player. And we don't see that with Devin. Devin is an ISO pull-up mid-range monster. But, yeah, I would be good with letting go of Devin for De'Aaron Fox, and I would give them 3 first-round picks, maybe 4, and you can have Zach Collins too. We can call it a day.
That might break the deals right there. What? Yep. No, sorry. No, take them out. But, that's a lot, man. That's a lot for De'Aaron Fox. You're talking about multiple first-round picks plus a player.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Are you worried you might be mortgaging the Spurs' long-term future by doing that, with giving up those picks? Okay, no. Okay.
No, Devin's a guy, he averages between 15 and 18 points a game. There's so many guys in the league we can go find that can, just get buckets like what Devin Vassell does. What De'Aaron Fox would bring to the Spurs with his speed, his pace of play, his pick and roll ability. He's become a good outside shooter. I mean, I think it would pay dividends for the Spurs. He would help Castle. Castle could be, the combo 1-2, and De'Aaron's learned to play off the ball too, because Sabonis handles it so much. So that would help him with already being able to play with Wemby. It's just, I really think De'Aaron Fox would put the Spurs not over the top like championship wise, but we would be skipping a few steps with adding him. And you can't be in the West and be an elite team without an all-star 1 or 2. And you look at all the best teams, they have that. So we've got to go get one for ourselves. And I think De'Aaron Fox would be that guy.
Yeah. And we're going to discuss this more on tomorrow's Locked On Spurs, why the Spurs should not trade them. We'll get into more depth about this tomorrow, but the only thing that makes me pump the brakes a bit is because I guess it's still technically still too early, to see if Atlanta's going to keep on playing this way. Because I would hate for the Spurs to flip those picks, and then next thing you know, Atlanta, oh darn, third worst team in the East, and we're like, well, great,
I don't.
They're picks,
I'm not for really trading them now at the deadline unless the deal, is right, and we could go get a De'Aaron Fox, but. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with letting, sitting and waiting because, it's either we're going to be right where we are or a little worse. I mean, that's probably how it's going to end up. The Hawks are good. I mean, they're playing good ball. And like I said, barring an injury, both the Spurs and the Hawks are probably going to be picking like right around each other. So,
yeah, exactly. And that's where, if we're keeping on topic right now about why the Spurs should trade them, is you trade them soon because this is probably their highest value as of now. Yeah, it's value, but 18. So you know where we're going with this thing. But yeah, look, you got the Wemby factor. It's not just on the court; it's also future as well. Fielding a competitive team, he wants to win. It's apparent. It's very obvious. The Spurs franchise, I hope they want to win and go back to glory, and we'll say they do. So the best way to do that is use all those assets they've used, including those ATL picks, and flip them ASAP. And I get the trade deadline. For me, if we're going to flip out, I'm waiting till the draft. I'm waiting for that day. I'm waiting for the offseason. I'm okay if you're going to flip them. Let's just wait till where there's more fruit to bear. Right now, you're limited to trades and players on rosters. But in the offseason, you have that, and you also have draft picks, and you also have free agents. So I think there's more fruit to pick in the offseason versus the here and now. He is Jack Thompson with San Antonio. Well, formerly with San Antonio Sports Star. Follow him on X at Jack_Thompson33. All right, so we debated this right now, why the Spurs should trade them now. Right now, those ATL picks, we need to hear from you. We're going to let Jack know on X. You see it on your screen on the YouTube side of things. By the way, Jack, before we go to break, Rudy's going to counter argument you tomorrow. You got any words for him?
I mean, I don't know why you would want to keep him. What benefit does that have? You want to add another 18-year-old to this team and just keep rebuilding and rebuilding?
Hey, built not bought, Jack. I thought that was the whole mantra. Built not.
Yeah, but you can't just keep adding pieces.
Yeah,
you'll never finish building.
Jack getting worked up right now. Ready to go flip those tables up right now. All right. Again, we're going to be discussing why the Spurs should not trade up tomorrow. So shots fired there, Rudy. Shots fired. We'll be back to discuss tonight's game, Spurs-Lakers. Yeah, Spurs resumed their play after being postponed because of the wildfires out in California. What should the Spurs do? Some things to look at as the Spurs take on the Lakers tonight in Los Angeles. But first, let's talk about open phone.
Running a small business means you're wearing a lot of hats. Your personal phone becomes your business phone, and before you know it, you're juggling customer calls day and night. As your team grows, it becomes impossible to manage everything with just your personal number. That's where Open Phone comes in. It's the #1 business phone system designed to help you keep your work and personal life separate. For just $15 a month, the cost of a few coffees, you get a complete transparency and visibility into everything happening with your business phone number. Open Phone works through an app on your phone or computer and integrates with tools like HubSpot and hundreds of others. It also uses AI-powered call transcripts and summaries, so you'll have a rundown of your calls and action items the second you hang up. And if you miss a call, not a problem. Automated messages are sent directly to your customer, ensuring you never miss an opportunity to engage. Right now, Open Phone is offering 20% off your first 6 months when you go to openphone.com/LockedOnNBA. That's OPENPHONE.com/LockedOnNBA for 20% off 6 months. openphone.com/LockedOnNBA. And if you have existing numbers with another service, OpenPhone will port them over at no extra charge.
I am Megatron. Do not fail me and subscribe to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
We're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Jack Thompson. Make sure to follow my next at Jack_Thompson33. Do that right now. Hey, Jack, can you put a rumor to rest? There's a rumor out there that Red Hulk is afraid of you. Is that true?
Oh, that's absolutely true.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hate to break it.
Man, how do you handle that, big guy? Speed kills? Is that what speed kills?
Yep.
You got me a speed. All right. So the Spurs and the Lakers, they resumed play after their game was postponed. They're going to have a 2-game set in Los Angeles. So game 1, if you will, got postponed because of the wildfires. They resumed play. As of this recording, the Spurs NBA have not announced when that first game that got postponed will happen again. So we'll see what the NBA does. But Spurs Lakers tonight, Jack, should be a good one out in Los Angeles. The Spurs are 18-19. Lakers are 20-16. San Antonio is on a 3-game losing streak now. Just to refresh your memory, everybody, the Spurs are coming off a tough loss to the Bucks, 121-105. I mean, Jack, that fourth period, man, the Bucks just went.
Yeah, that was a beatdown, man. They bullied over. They made Wemby look like a kid. It was the first time I've seen it. It was bad.
Before we get into the preview, are you ready to call this team soft? You think this Spurs team is soft?
There's a little element of softness to them. I would certainly say that. I am so beyond tired of watching Wemby grab the ball and bring it down to his waist.
Yes, I'm right there with you.
Dude, I cannot stand that.
Put it up.
Bring it high. Yes, that's a little kid mistake. Like, I teach young kids that in basketball, not NBA players. I truly don't get that. But, yeah, there's an element of softness. But, I mean, look at who we've got. We don't have any real – the Castle and Jeremy are – CP's not soft.
CP3
not soft. But besides that, Keldon's not soft. So we've got some strong dudes, but – yeah, we're definitely. I would not look at our roster and say that we're a tough team.
All right. Well, Victor Wembanyama had a bad game in that loss to the Bucks, 10-10 for his standards, 10 points, 10 rebounds. All right. Injury report. Sohan is questionable as of this recording. That may change, but he's the only one that's questionable. So we'll see what he will be doing tonight. And the Spurs, if he plays at all, by the way, and the Spurs, in case you're wondering, will be in their black icon edition jersey. So heads up on that. So, Jack, what do you want to see out of this team tonight? For me, I don't want to see softness. AD and Wemby, I think likely will be the matchup to watch. But then you got LeBron. The Lakers can be a handful, despite they're just right above 500. What are you looking for tonight's game?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see who can slow down LeBron. I assume it'll be Harrison and Julian that probably get most of the minutes on him. But really, I think the X factor is how do we do with Austin Reeves? He's been absolutely killing it lately. And while, LeBron and AD are the stars, Austin Reeves is the X factor of that team, man. He's really been killing it since they got rid of D'Angelo Russell. They're implementing Dorian Finney-Smith now, so that's another lockdown 3-and-D guy they've got on their team. I think he's going to help them. So it's just who can slow down LeBron, and can Castle and Devin check Austin Reeves enough to slow those assist numbers down? If we can do that, then I think we walk out of LA with the dub.
Yeah, well, the Spurs don't do well against teams with above 500 records. They're 7-13.
Very true.
Against teams that have they tend to take care of business at sub 500, but above 500 they struggle. Ask the Bucks. Just to look at that Bucks game. Now, for me, the key to beat the Lakers is just rebounding. The Lakers have been very poor on the boards of late. They've been out rebounded the last 2 games. So
another is off team, honestly.
Yeah. So thank you for bringing that up. So the Spurs are going to get some edge on that. You got to get the rebounding numbers up for the Spurs. I think they can do it. If Sohan plays, there's that, and of course Wemby. Wemby. and we'll see what the Spurs do. Believe it, one thing I think that doesn't get enough attention is Champagne is a decent rebounder for a guard. I don't know if you've ever seen the box scores. He's always
he's like 6'8". So
yeah, he's a big dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he tends to rebound pretty well for his position. He's not getting 20 or 10 rebounds, but he's giving you about 7, 8 a game.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind too. Also, keep an eye on that scoreboard. Everybody else that's watching, and you too, Jack. Why? Because the Lakers at home are undefeated when they're leading after the third quarter. They don't let go of those leads. It'll take them to the bitter end, but if stats don't lie, then the Lakers are undefeated at home when leading after the third. Keep an eye on that scoreboard. And Jack, can we talk about the Spurs 3-point shooting? How many did they jack up versus Milwaukee? 52? 52 3-pointers. How many did they make? Like 18, 16? So,
rough, dude, it's rough.
Jack, I don't know where to attack this because in the NBA, you got to make threes to be competitive and get W's. But at the same time, the Spurs are jacking up. Right now, they're averaging a season high 45.5 3-point attempts right now, but they're not making them. So where do you do? What do you do? And it's not like they have mid-range gunners. Maybe Vassell, maybe Barnes, but yeah, I mean, it's like either Wemby's going to make them or Champagne's going to make them. I guess maybe a late throw in Chris Paul. He's been kind of clutch.
He's been nice at the end of games. Yeah.
But what do you do, Jack? They don't really have a 3-point threat out there. Again, outside of maybe Wemby and Champagne. Their mid-range game is not the greatest. And their inside game is all right. Well, mainly because of Wemby and Calvin likes to penetrate.
You know what you do? You know what you do?
I don't know what to do.
You flip picks and go get some people that got
it. So there you go. Do that right now at the trade deadline, Spurs. You heard Jack. But so yeah, just keep an eye on that 3-point shooting. That seems to be a common thread this season with this.
Yeah, it's
team.
bad. When it's bad, it's bad.
It's bad. I mean, 52 3-point shots they jacked up versus Milwaukee. All for nothing.
We truly only have one shooter on the team, and that's Julian. I mean,
would you be okay to say versus Wemby? Wemby of late he's been kind of hot.
He's a scorer, but I wouldn't say he makes the craziest. He's like an elite, insane shot maker.
Keep on doing that.
I wouldn't say he's quite a shooter yet.
Well, Jack, on this roster, I'm like looking for anybody.
He's by far the second best choice. By far.
Anybody. All right. So hopefully the Spurs will get that dub on the road tonight in Los Angeles and snap this losing skid they're on. They need it. They need it bad. All right, Jack. Once again, we thank you for stopping by here at Locked On Spurs. Don't be a stranger. We need you on here, buddy.
Absolutely, brother.
We need you on here, man. One more nerd question before I let you go.
Let's hear it.
All right, one more. I can't let you go with that one. in the Blade 1 movie, when he's the opening scene and he's in the nightclub and he's battling the vampire horde, he break the fourth wall when he smiles at the camera before he throws his frisbee weapon? And does that make him up there with Deadpool and She-Hulk as one of the only characters that can do that, or was that just kind of a one-off thing?
I think it's tough. I think it was more of a one-off thing.
Yeah.
Because in the other ones of like his movies, the original Blades, he doesn't do that. But when he's in Deadpool versus Wolverine, that universe, he does. So it's kind of hard. But I would say that is just more of like a one-off
thing.
Yeah.
I was rewatching the Blade movie this weekend, and all these years, all these times I've seen him, and when he did the frisbee throw weapon and slicing the vampires up, and he smiles like, wait a minute, like, these years, I'm like, he just broke the freaking fourth wall. I'm like, how does nobody talk about this? But no, I think he did, and I think it
did, but it wasn't like a
And by the way, I miss those days, those MCU days, man. That was early MCU.
Yeah, it was like the very beginning.
Again, thanks again for Stakey. We'll take your time out here. I'm thinking of the vampire Stakey. Taking time out here to join us here at Locked On Spurs. He is at Jack_Thompson on X. Make sure to follow him right now. We'll be back tomorrow. As you've been hearing, Reed Campos is joining us. He's going to take the counter position why the Spurs should not trade the ATL picks. So we'll hear what Rudy has to say about that. And subscribe to Locked On Spurs wherever you get your favorite podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Kids 5 Plus app. You know where to go. Go subscribe right now, and also to the Locked On Spurs newsletter. It's in the description below. If you're on the YouTube side of things, click on that link. Completely free. Sign up right now. So for Jack Thompson, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock in this episode of Locked On Spurs.